Press play.
Replay, replay, replay.
You're watching Play Replay with Async. I want to talk about a movie that's pretty awesome. It's called The Ritual. You can find this movie on Netflix. I believe it's still on Netflix. Anyway, it's a European movie. Takes place in the UK somewhere. It's basically a Norse mythology or legend type of thing where it has kind of a ritual that takes place, obviously with the name. But it's interesting because it's about four friends that go off into the woods, four college friends or whatever, and they kind of trying to get away from the idea that one of their best friends died recently after like a robbery or whatever. Anyway, and they go off and they go camping or hiking in the Norse land, basically, where mythology and all these legends and stuff could be in the wilderness. So it's interesting with all that. It's just kind of a cool movie to think about where this thing could go because it has like a monster in it that is very creative and it's very interesting how it looks. Um, I don't know much about the monster or the mythology behind the creature, but I've never seen anything like it before. And I always thought that creative designs for monsters, because I always like monster movies as long as they're not super extremely gory and just so like violent, like I like the thought of a monster just out of the realm of sight where you kind of know what you're getting, and then eventually you get to see it in daylight or something like that where you can actually know what you're dealing with. But I like the mystery leading up to seeing this thing, like monsters and stuff. And this movie does a great job of that. It really just kind of takes you through. I mean, I'm not going to give spoilers really, other than the fact that there's a monster in it. But you kind of see these guys dealing with a lot of issues after their friend's death, and they just kind of blow off steam and go hiking and whatever. And then they decide that they're going to cut through a wilderness area instead of sticking to the path that they originally had planned. And it's because of one of their friends hurts his leg. I don't remember if he breaks his leg. I don't remember what he did. Anyway, so they have to go, and they go into this woods and stuff, and it's just kind of a creepy, eerie kind of environment, obviously, with woods and all that. But you get some ritual type of stuff. You kind of feel like there's some witchcraft going on or something like that in these woods, and they end up staying in the woods in this tent. And if you watch the trailer, you'll kind of get the gist of what happens when they stay in the woods. But it's a really good movie because it's kind of about this guy dealing with the fact that of what him and his friend went through or whatever, and the problem of what happened with his friend when they were in London or whatever, and he died, and he kind of feels guilty for it, and the stuff he's kind of working through at the same time as he's dealing with this monstrous thing that's out to hunt down people. But the creature really it's not just like some monster that's like an animal. It's actually thinking, and you get that by the end of the movie, and it needs some certain thing to be done in order for it to, I guess, continue in a sense. So it has to have people in it. I'll just put it that way. I'm not going to spoil it, but I'm just saying it has to have people and like a cult around it, I guess, in a sense. And there's this one creepy scene, and you'll see it in the commercial, I think. But he's like looking to the woods, and it's like daylight, and you know how you get those white, I don't know what kind of trees they are, birch trees. Anyway, white trees, or you see them all just like thin little trees, and they just keep going forever. And then he sees like a hand like go around the tree, and it's like this. It's almost like a human face looking, but it's way too high in the air to be a human you know, and it's like, holy crap, and he just kind of gets out of there. But that part was like, holy, that's freaked the hell out of me. But I watched this movie a while back, but it's just one of those ones that I consider a classic. I mean, there's not a lot of great movies these days, but this one here to me is like one of those great old fashioned classic monster movies that makes you jump and freaks you out a little bit, but it has a great story and has a good ending actually. I think the ending is even good. I didn't, because a lot of these movies that are horror movies, they just can't stick the ending, it seems like, or they're slogging slow for a long time and then they have a conclusion that might be good or bad, but it's like kind of too boring and not really interesting. But this movie has a good mix of everything: the jump scares, the horror, the people, some people are dying and they don't know why, that type of stuff. And it just feels like a good mix of everything, and the length of the movie feels about right. So I would say that if you're looking for a good scary movie, and if you have Netflix, I believe this is still on Netflix. I think it's actually I think they might have helped make it, maybe, I don't know. But yeah, it's a good movie, and I would definitely say to watch it if you like horror movies that are like monster movies that look good. I mean, the special effects on this movie looks real. It doesn't look like crappy special effects, because a lot of times you'll get movies that you could tell that they kind of rushed out the CGI and stuff. On this, the monster, at least my point of view, is it looks real and it looks good. And there's a couple of scenes where you get to see it, and there's, yeah, it's hidden away in the dark a lot, but eventually you will get to see this thing in its whole form, everything, and it's like, wow. They really did a great job on creature design. They did a great job on special effects. They did a great job on everything in this movie, and it just kind of culminates into a great story. So I would definitely say to watch this movie. This is one of my favorite newer horror movies, I guess. I will always look at this movie as something like, if I'm bored and there's not, and I want to watch a scary movie that I know is always going to be a good one, this is a good one. So tell me if you've seen this before in the comment section, because I'm curious about how many people actually are into this movie and have seen it or know anything about it. The monster is very interesting, and I just kind of wonder. I didn't really do much research on the monster, but is this like one of those crypto monsters that people say that they've seen or something? I just kind of wonder how that, if it's a thing or whatever. I don't know much about it, so I kind of wonder what people are saying about this creature, and if it's like some kind of a mythology that maybe, I don't know. I've heard that the monster is kind of based on Loki's child, because it's Norse mythology. So I don't know if that's true. I don't know much about that, but that's interesting that it looks like this. If it's a child of Loki, that's kind of creepy and weird. But so yeah, it's just something I wanted to throw out there for people and just kind of do a quick video, because I think it was a great movie. And if you like this thing, leave some comments in the comment section below and tell me what you thought about it. Anyway, like, share, and subscribe, and thank you for watching.